Hi, everybody. It's Monday morning. We're a week away from the funeral, and the controversy just keep building thanks to Meghan and Harry. And it started right at the beginning when the family was called to Scotland as the Queen lay very ill. Meghan puts out on the Archwell website that her and Harry will be traveling to Scotland. This was quickly squelched by King Charles and the palace planners and said absolutely not. Meghan's not coming. The ensuing kerfuffle back and forth resulted in Harry arriving some 2 hours after the Queen had passed. He didn't stick around very long. He got there at about 8:30 in the evening, and he was gone just around 12 hours later, 8:30 in the morning. He jumped on a plane and was back in London with Meghan. The rest of the family stayed up in Scotland. Of course, Charles had to leave because he had parliamentary duties and all of the proclamation things, and he didn't have time to mourn. He was on the go the next day dealing with everything he had to deal with. I mean, he had a full agenda, as he still does. The family stayed up there. They attended a service the next day. Um, Things roll on. Now, as of today, the Queen's coffin is in the cathedral in Edinburgh. Charles spoke to Parliament this morning. He gave a little speech and received condolences. Him and Camilla were on their thrones in front of Parliament this morning, and then he promptly, after that, jumped on a plane and heading back up to Scotland for the service being held today. He will be leading the procession. Things roll on. Yesterday, we saw Meghan and Harry and Kate and William, the new Prince and Princess of Wales, on a walkabout up the Great Walk at Windsor Castle. Now, there's a whole lot of controversy about this. First, I've heard 3 or 4 different stories. First, that Meghan and Harry, of course, they've got their Netflix crew there. This would have been, the Queen's funeral, Netflix gold. If they, and this is the way Meghan works. Well, I heard that first they had planned to do a walkabout themselves alone, so they had to inform the police that were all out there and this kind of thing, and that eventually, not too long, word got back to William and Kate that this is what they were planning to do. So William and Kate stepped in and took control of the situation. I've also heard that Charles requested of William to invite them along on a prearranged walkabout that William and Kate were planning to do. I've also heard that the planned event, William decided to reach out an olive branch to Harry and Meghan and invite them along. So we don't know exactly how it all came about. One thing we do know, thanks to Richard Kay's reporting, is that when the initial conversation between William and Harry took place prior to the walkabout, that there was 45 minutes of back and forth and conditions to be met and all of this kind of, they're 10 minutes apart on the estate. They need 45 minutes of arguing to figure this out. It sounds to me like there was a lot of demands trying to be made on Harry and Meghan's part, because, why else would it take so long to arrange something? But as it turned out, They showed up, albeit, as Richard Kay said, they arrived in separate cars and they left in separate cars. And we saw during the walkabout, Kate and William looked very comfortable, very poised, as they always do. As they always do. Uh, Harry and Meghan looked uncomfortable. Meghan especially looked terribly awkward, out of place, playing with her hair, didn't know where to stand. Her and Kate had almost no eye contact through the footage of it. It doesn't look like they even spoke. Meghan looked very awkward, very nervous. But one thing I did notice, did you notice? For the first time we've ever seen Meghan at an official engagement, the girl was wearing tights. Remember the wedding? She wouldn't let Charlotte wear tights. We've never seen Meghan wear tights at any official event, and it's one of those protocol things. Girls wear tights or pantyhose, whatever you want to call them. She never has. I think part of the negotiation was the new Princess of Wales says, "You're going to be seen with me. You put your tights on, girl." Meghan was put in her place, and you can tell it because she was not comfortable in that walkabout. Such as it is, it happened. A lot of people were pleased to see them together. I don't think it's the start of a thawing of the frostiness between the four of them. I really don't. I think it was an official duty. This is duty. This is what we're going to do. Put up, shut up, put your tights on, and we're going for a walk. I think that's pretty much what was said to them. But the controversy doesn't end there. Now we're hearing Meghan saying, oh, gee, she misses her kids. They've been gone for a week. She wants to bring Doria and the kids over. Now, for those of us that believe there's not really kids, you kind of think, well, how are they going to pull this off? What's her motivation behind this? Well, there's a couple of things. I think there's a few things in play. This could be just a power play to stir up trouble and saying, I want my kids here. I want them I've heard even she wants them at the funeral. And a funeral of any sort is no place for kids 1 and 3 years old. Now, I'm sure Kate and William, George is 10. And he's also in the line of succession. No doubt he might be there. They might even have Charlotte. And Louis a little iffy. You don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised at all to see George attending with his parents. But Meghan and her kids, absolutely not. And certainly not her mother. Her mother has no place at a state funeral for somebody she's met once. I mean, you know. So it could be Meghan just trying to stir up more trouble, knowing that it'll never happen anyway. But it's a good chance to get in there and stir up some trouble, which she enjoys doing. I think she really enjoys putting people on edge and making them scramble, and it's a way of her getting attention when all the attention should be on the Queen's funeral. Now, if there are no kids and this is just this kind of a play for attention and she knows it's never going to happen anyway, that's one thing. Those of you who believe there might be kids of whatever progeny, but if there really are children and she really does want to bring them over, you got to ask, well, why? Because chances are she already knows they wouldn't be allowed at the funeral. This is Netflix gold, man. And this is a way, if she brings the kids over and her mother, and puts out pictures of the kids or footage of the kids or that sort of a thing. It's another way of her upstaging the royal family, which she has done on every occasion. George's birthday, Eugenie's wedding, everything, things Kate has done, Charles and Camilla on their tour. She always does something, pulls something out of the hat to try to upstage them at every turn. And this could be another way, whether there's kids or not, whether they come or not. She's got a great opportunity in a whole week to stir up trouble, keep people on edge, get a lot of attention, and perhaps some desperately needed Netflix coverage. The funeral of the Queen is going to be the biggest event of the century, and Meghan wants that footage. You gotta know she wants that footage. So I don't see that we're going to see the end of this. I think we're going to have a week of just more of her crap, more of her attention getting, more of her stirring up trouble. The woman is incorrigible. The one thing I was happy to see, that she was completely put on edge, upstaged, and humiliated by William and Kate, and that's what needed to happen. Maybe it put her in her place. I don't think for long, but even for the moment, that was good to see. So we'll see what happens. Are there kids? Will they show up? If it gets so bad and there's enough controversy, maybe Meghan won't even come to the funeral. Maybe she'll leave and leave Harry alone, although I don't think so, even though some people have been saying that. Maybe she won't even show up. I don't think she'd miss it for the world. I don't think so. She's got to make an appearance. Will they be wired up this time? There's that possibility. There's going to be a lot to watch, folks. A lot to watch, a lot to pick apart. And how low is Meghan going to go? Like and subscribe. Leave me a comment. Let's continue this conversation. I'd love to know what you feel about all of this. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.